So, as we are at 6:02, we can go ahead and get started whenever you want. Kyle. No. Me today. Yeah.
All right, let's call this meeting to order for February. We start off with a roll call, including our newest member. We go down the row. Just please state that you are present. Kayla.
Present.
Fred.
Present.
Myself. Lene.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Ryan, we can see is missing. Catherine.
Here.
Are we going to need a motion to approve his absence? But we haven't heard from him, so do we not do that, or?
I would still make a motion. It's just not an approved absence, so, or an excused absence, so. But I would still motion, yes.
Anybody can motion besides me.
Move to approve Ryan's absence.
I'll second.
All right. Are there any addendums to the formal agenda before we get rolling?
Yeah, I want to move two things around. If you guys will bear with me. The first thing that I want to move around is the recommendation to reappoint Edison, White, and Hibbard to the top of the agenda before we move on. And then the second one, I guess, a little bit more informal, but just a chance to, I guess, everyone can say their name and just so our newest commissioner, Kayla, can get kind of acquainted with everyone as well, and we can all get acquainted with her again. So we can put that after the recommendation to reappoint said commissioners.
All right. Since we didn't have quorum last month, sorry, were you going to say something?
Oh, I thought you'd want me to move to approve the agenda as amended.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Thank you.
Okay, I thought I did, but I moved to approve the agenda as amended.
Do we need a second?
Second.
All right. Okay, now we can approve the minutes from December and technically January, even though it was just adjourned for lack of quorum. I did have notes written down for December. Let's see what they say. Oh, yeah, it says February in the upper right.
Okay.
In A, it says White approved, comma, move to approve. I think we just delete the first approved.
Okay.
Same for C, approval of minutes. It says Edison approved, it should be Edison moved.
Okay.
And the, under reports, like E2, that one is full of quotes that are not quoted.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to go through that line by line, just a lot. Probably not go through it fully, but maybe we could insert quotation marks where needed.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
In E2, speaking of, there was just a typo, I think. It says they sometimes want it more immediately. It should be want it more immediately. It's about, I don't know, 8 lines down or something. Those are all the notes that I had.
Okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
Does that count for both months, or do we have to do January separately?
How did you intend the motion, Catherine?
Both. Well,
Okay.
yeah, let's go with both.
Okay. Do you concur with that, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay. It can stand as it was moved.
Awesome. All right, do we have any submitted public comments to the record?
Nope.
No guests seen wishing to speak to the body. All right, moving on to reports then. Financial reports.
Oh.
Oh, you're moving things, that's right. Sorry, go ahead.
So we'll just, we'll start with the recommendation to reappoint Edison, Hibbard, and White.
Can I ask when is or was our appointment up?
Was, but I don't have the dates right in front.
Okay, wasn't that in the summertime?
No, not in the summer.
Okay, I don't remember.
I just don't know when they were exactly. And the email doesn't like to load here as much
Okay,
on this computer.
no
so-
worries at all. I was just trying to remember how long it's been.
When was mine up? Because I don't.
I can email you guys the email that I got. You're still good right now.
When. Because I thought mine was up next January.
Let me look.
And I guess I don't remember being reappointed.
So you must have been reappointed in 2022, Vinay. Yours ends in 2025. Catherine and Fred was March, and Kyle, yours would have been in January, but we didn't have the meeting, so.
So what do we need to do?
These ones are tricky wording, but you need to recommend the reappointment of said commissioners to the mayor and the city commission for approval.
Should it be somebody that is not?
I move to recommend Edison, White, and Hibbard to the mayor and the city commissioner to renew their membership.
I'll second that.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Now that that's taken care of, as I alluded to earlier, we have a new commissioner, Kayla Kina, and I just wanted to give everyone a chance to say their names real quick, so we can all be acquainted with each other, and then if you wanted to say some things about yourself again, Kayla, feel more than welcome to. So, sorry to shine spotlights. I just want to make sure that we all know each other. So, we can start with Catherine.
Do you just want my name or?
Whatever you feel is pertinent is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome. We're really excited you're here. My name is Catherine White. Sounds like I've been on this commission for 3 years. Moved here in late 2019, so feel still very much like a newcomer to Kalamazoo, but I'm learning a lot. I'm a curator at a museum in the Detroit area, but I live here now and go back there. But I have a background in historic preservation and received a master's degree in historic preservation, I don't know, a long time ago. So here I am. Welcome. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Patrick Vale. I started in the winter of 2022, I think, on this commission. I grew up in the area, moved away, but came back, and right now I work for a bank out of Kansas City, but I work from home. I don't have a background in preservation, but We have my wife and I have an old home, and just kind of interested in a lot of the different aspects of that preservation. So, welcome.
Hi, welcome. My name is Kyle Hibbard. I was recruited by the previous preservation coordinator for the city, who I grew up next to. I lived in an old home myself that she helped me research and discover things about, and I studied architecture for a master's in that, and just wanted to get involved in a different way than I had been volunteering in other capacities, so here we are. And yeah, I'm your guru for cleaning gravestones.
Hi, my name's Fred Edison, and I'm a retired history teacher. Taught mostly in Colorado, but went to school in Michigan, went to Central Michigan, and about 4 years here, then I'm 30 in Colorado, moved back. We own an old house in the Stewart neighborhood, just north of Cake College. So I've always had an interest in historic preservation and history.
Hello. I'm Lene Powell Wilson. I've been in Kalamazoo since 2011. About 2016, I bought a home, had no clue, had to educate myself. And in doing so, I met Sharon, who is the past coordinator, and Pam. I met them at one of their OHOW workshops, and I had so many questions and showed interest because, honestly, I just wanted to know to fix my house. And so they recommended that I get on the board, and I did. I am, by trade, I'm a nurse, but I'm on the business side now, dealing with insurances and things. So I'm a very busy person, but I do what I can to assist and volunteer. And no need knowing me, because next January I'll get kicked off. So there's that. But welcome.
Are you doing the Regina exit? What is that, 6 years?
It's 4. It's 2 terms. It's 4, right? 2 terms.
So 6. It's the 6-year rule or something?
So I can look into all this and clarify.
Yeah. Term limits.
I was here when we had our meetings in the office over here.
Community room? This one? Oh, then I don't know about that.
Yeah, and that's the mayor's office.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, I've been here a while.
Wow.
I didn't know it was 6 years, but there's that. Sorry.
If you have any questions, ask her.
Well, thanks, everybody. Yeah, I appreciate that. And again, I'm Kayla Akina. I also moved to Kalamazoo in late 2019. I came from the Twin Cities, but am originally from Idaho. I've worked in historic preservation with the Gun Lake tribe for just about 2.5 years now. So yeah, I've definitely been learning a lot, and I have a background in historical archaeology and history, so I kind of, fell into historic preservation, but I guess it kind of made sense, even though at the time I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. So, but yeah, thanks, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. We're very happy to have you as well, Kayla. So we're glad that you could join with us, and looking forward to the time that we all have together, and to all of you guys for all volunteering as well. So appreciate everyone. I think that in the coming months, I'll just tag this on now, probably try to shoehorn it in for April, let's say, just to be loosey-goosey. We could also say late March. We can do another orientation of sorts to make sure that you can get acquainted and have a proper orientation, sit down and go over the work plan as well, so we can all look to see what subcommittees you might want to get involved with. And I think that if folks want to reach out to Kayla on their own as well to say, hey, here's kind of the subcommittee that I'm in, and maybe you'd be interested in that as well. That might be something that's worthwhile too. So we'll get something scheduled, whether it's here in City Hall or somewhere else. We'll find the time where we can have another proper, albeit shorter, orientation for everyone. So I can share all the resources as we get closer. So thank you all for the introductions, and we can continue to move along.
All right. Back on schedule to financial reports. We have fund summaries. Are those separate, I guess?
Yeah, so it's right back to me now. So these are O'Connor fund summaries. I will just say that I just got access myself to our financial tool within the city, so I can start running my own reports and make them more legible to us all. I just got the access today, so I couldn't print one off. The one that I got sent was kind of the old iteration that we all found was hard to interpret, so I would just say that we have the same amount of money in the city account as we did the last time when we had our small breakthrough, because we have not spent any. So next month we will have a more proper spreadsheet that shows the city funds. Coming down from that, we have the O'Connor 1 and O'Connor 2. I don't know why they print off like this, and I wanted to get a holistic one, but the other tool is broken. So sorry that there's so much wasted paper in this, or just digital space. O'Connor, first O'Connor fund right now, we have a balance of $66,637. Spendable amount is $17,468.25. From the O'Connor 2, we have a balance of $400,938.03. The cash available is $57,811.29.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
the money that we are putting towards the Preservation Network Conference in May, that came out of the O'Connor Fund, correct?
Yep, and it hasn't come out yet.
It hasn't come out yet. Do you know which of the in NO1 or NO2 that it'll come out of?
I want to say that it was one. Yes, one, because that was the one that was up when I did it. Again, I couldn't get the reports to show like, here's the money that's encumbered against you right now.
Yeah.
But when it does come out, it'll show up on next month's report then.
Okay.
I do think that it was probably going to be coming out around this time, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Kayla, for you too, just an explanation of the two different funding sources that we have. There's a city held account that's money that's been with the commission, I believe, for a very long time. That's on a revenue basis, though, so we need to make money to continue to prop up that fund. In the past, there were things that were done by the commission. This is not a disparaging comment in any way, but just giving background that there was money that was made on a much more regular basis prior to the pandemic, I would say. It was a very hard cutoff for us, and probably for understandable reasons. That revenue comes through things like workshops, sales of books, which the commission has written 3 books, and it also comes to us through tours. Tours was a really big driver of that revenue leading up to the pandemic, and then obviously not being able to be in person anymore kind of halted that. That one we've over the past year really delved into the finances of that a lot more, gotten more, I hope that everyone agrees with me, firm grip on where those finances stand. And I think that after we've established that firm grip, it's start to lean in to the O'Connor Fund a little bit more heavily. The O'Connor Fund is an endowment that was started by Pam O'Connor, who I don't know if you've met, perhaps she was here last month, but that was started in 2000 with her husband at the Kalamazoo Community Foundation for the purpose of serving historic preservation in the city of Kalamazoo. In the intervening 24 years, with the help of just the market and with gifts that have been given, that's grown from, I believe, like 10 grand up to $400,000 in the endowment, 400 and some change. So that's something that we have not used a lot in the past. And I think that, again, we needed to establish a more firm grip on where we stood with that money and how we can utilize that money. But I think any of the commissioners can step up and say what they believe as well. But that's something that the commission is going to start to look into using more frequently now, because we have more money and we know that there's some kind of protection, a safety net at the bottom of it, where we don't need to worry about spending it all the way down. Not to say that we'll just spend willy-nilly, but we do have more funds at our disposal with that amount of money. In addition to that, I do want to say that we are in a very fortunate position, because I think of all of the preservation commissions in the state of Michigan that I know, we're probably one of the best funded. I think it's relatively unheard of for a commission to have a budget at all, nonetheless a budget that has an endowment over $400,000. So I think that we're in a great position in that regard. So I can leave the floor open to any of your fellow commissioners if they have anything they'd like to add.
No, that was great, Louise. The only thing I would add is that we had a presentation a few months ago. Oh, I think you were here with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation, which was very helpful, and it answered a lot of questions for us about exactly how the fund works. But in recent years, I guess maybe in the last year or two, I don't know when the first one was, that we started making grants out of that fund to different organizations in the community, and that's been, I think, a really good thing. Fulfills a lot of what the original intent for that money was, and something that we're, I think now after that community foundation meeting and like seeing, this is great, Louise, to see this in the agenda and like have it just like so cleanly laid out here is wonderful. But yeah, I think we all feel much better about doing that work and spending the money, and it's all good. So anyway.
Awesome. And again, I'll have a proper spreadsheet with the city funds next month so we can see where we're at and understand that a little bit better as well. But I know, or I feel that the pendulum is swinging a little bit, and we're starting to lean away from that one a little bit more, I think. Not to say that we're not going to utilize it, but I think that we've found our groove a little bit with the O'Connor funds. So that is all I have for the financial reports.
Very good, thank you. Next item is the O'Connor Fund Organizing Committee report submitted by Catherine, right?
Yeah. Okay, so O'Connor Fund Grant Program, this will be our second round. Last year, for Kayla's sake, we did our first round. This was a big, this kind of grant making committee was developed, and great experience, but last year we didn't have the applicants that met the criteria we were looking for, and so Pam O'Connor and others have spent a lot of time over the last, I don't know how many months, kind of trying to kind of shift that, make it a little more accessible, easier to use, and in hopes that we can make some real grants out of that program this year. So to that end, we are holding an O'Connor Fund grant making program pre-application meeting or workshop on Monday, this coming Monday, the 19th, from noon to 2-ish in the KPL's Van Dusen room. And on the report, it says invitations were sent out to the list of compiled applicable nonprofit organizations. That's also something that was new this year. Last year we just used the website and social media and like news media to try to get the word out about this grant program. And this year, Pam and Luis painstakingly contacted many of the applicable organizations in the city, which I think is great. And as of writing this last week, we had 5 parties that had confirmed attendance, but Luis, you said today that now we're up to, what, 20 you said? 17, 20?
Yeah, so we'll just say 20 for the sake of discussion. Some folks would RSVP for themselves, and then maybe have like 1 or 2 other people that would be interesting. I know that I got 2 phone calls as well. The email box that I set up for it has 19 emails in it right now. So
great. Okay, that's good. So their RSVPs were due by today, so hopefully you might get a few more to go then. But I think that's great. If we have 20, 25 attendees, I think that will be a really nice turnout. And Luis, Kyle, and I will be there on Monday to go through that. Luis is preparing a PowerPoint. For that meeting, we have action needed by the commission. We are planning to provide lunch to the attendees. Originally, we had estimated, I think, a very optimistic 75 attendees. And we calculated what lunch would cost to feed 70 people. And so you'll see on here that says a not to exceed amount of $700. I think we can probably lower that now. Again, it's a not to exceed, so it means that if it becomes less, then it is much less.
Then use the 700 and buy steaks.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. No. I think we're trying to keep it pretty economical here, use the funds wisely, but
Plan is subs.
What?
The plan is subs.
The plan is subs, yes. The plan is sub sandwiches. Really good sub sandwiches, but sub sandwiches. So anyway, I would love to entertain a motion from anybody, maybe not, I don't know, it could be me, I guess, or somebody else. Do we want to lower that amount? Kyle says yes. What do you want to, do you want to make the motion, Kyle?
I can't make motions as the chair.
Okay. What do you want to lower it?
My suggestion would be 300, and you,
Okay.
based on your preliminary research, it looks like that would be suitable.
What do you think, Luis?
Maybe we give ourselves a little more wiggle room. My intuition right now is that they're still rolling in. They still might continue to roll in. People might show up that did not RSVP as well.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, obviously, if not everyone gets a sandwich, but I do want to make people feel comfortable if they're coming to the meeting, right? And I want them to not feel left out. So
I think, I mean, again, it's a not to exceed amount. So just because we have $700 approved does not mean we would use $700. I think we would not, depending on the number of applicants, it will not change our menu for the day. We're getting, right. So although, Lenny, I do love your suggestion. Thank you for that. So if we do want to lower it, we can lower it. But again, even if we had one person and we spent $25, that does not exceed $700. So
Yeah, I guess I'm questioning, why are you trying to lower it? Just leave it at the 700.
I feel fine with that. If you
don't use it, you don't use it.
Okay. All right. Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
I say I motion to keep the budget at $700.
Maximum.
And to put the money back, all the money you did not use, but keep it there. I mean, you can have dessert, caviar, I don't know.
Do we want, is that language okay? Or, because I wrote out a motion here. Is that okay, you think? Or should we?
you could suggest any language that
Okay.
you wanted to Lene. Yeah.
Okay, so here's language I might suggest, Lene. We need a motion from the commission to approve funds not to exceed an amount of $700 to provide lunch for attendees for the February 19th O'Connor Fund pre-application meeting. You could say so moved if you wanted to.
So moved.
Thank you.
And a second.
I'll second.
And then we have to roll call for this because it is a money matter. So we'll use the same order listed on our agenda, starting with Kayla. Yes or no? Yes to approve.
Yes.
Thank you. Fred?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Lene?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
And Catherine?
Yes,
Passes.
thank you.
Unanimously.
And then lastly, just a few other kind of O'Connor Fund updates. The to-do for next week will be finalizing the presentation. I wrote on here we would be printing all materials, but in an eye towards sustainability, we will not be printing all materials. We will encourage people to look at the website, which we'll be getting ready in the next few weeks. We hope to open the grant round in March, and the deadline for the grant round we're looking at mid-May, but those dates will be finalized, and next meeting we'll have all those things kind of set aside for you.
Are you going to give them a cheat sheet or something?
What do you mean by a cheat sheet?
So some sheet to highlight, things expected in the application process.
I think that is an ideal situation. Luis talked about hoping to create a one-pager. We'll see. Yeah.
To me, the entire point of the meeting, and as Catherine spoke to, we looked to make it this way because last year perhaps our outreach methods were not the best, right? I can take ownership for that, but I think that we thought that our net would be a little bit more wide-reaching than it was. It was probably our first issue. Our second issue was that perhaps some of the requirements were too stringent and there was not enough language built in to say, please just submit. Even if you can't meet every requirement, we would still like to have applications submitted. By reaching out to the folks that we did this time, I hesitate to say that it was all the people that met the applicable standards, but we did send out 162 letters to folks, maybe even 169 letters to folks that meet the requirements here in the city of Kalamazoo. By getting that letter, they had my email, they were able to RSVP with me, so we have, a lot of interested parties now. I hope that the meeting then will be, hey, this is the website, here's what we want to see from it, here's how you get through it. Cheat sheet would be nice, yes, I just have to get one made before Monday. So I think that too, I want to really let people know that I'm always here to talk to them, obviously, if they have questions throughout the process as well. But actually doing the reading and the research before is going to help them understand if they're eligible to. The biggest thing that I've heard from folks is we don't want to start down this road if we're not eligible. So hopefully by reaching out to folks that we know are eligible, that takes away some of those things, or some of those barriers as well. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting more applications this time. And again, just for Kayla, just to give you some more background, this broadly and generally applies to nonprofits within the city of Kalamazoo who own a property that's 50 years of age or older. There's two different kind of routes that you can pursue the grant through. One of the routes is for the rehabilitation of the building. The other route is for a plan to preserve the building. The grant range of money is between $2,000 and $10,000. So, it might not get the project completed, obviously, but for folks who might need to get over that hump, it might give them a little bit of a push to get over the hump. So we're excited about it this year. This will be our second year of doing it, but I hope it's the first year that we're able to give out a grant.
And one thing too that Louis, you talked about, what's really exciting about this grant program is that although we have the requirement of a 50-year or older structure, it is not required that they be listed in any sort of district or the National Register, so that kind of frees up a lot of things for people and provides access to funds. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot else for those types of properties, so that's the hope. Yeah. Look, Lene, to your point, the one-pager or kind of cheat sheet idea, it's a good one. I think also the front page or the main web page for the O'Connor Fund grant program is meant to kind of be that. And so we have been trying to kind of, there will be links there and there will be other information embedded within that web page, but kind of the landing page for that website is meant to be kind of like a quick intro, here's what you need to do. So even if Louis doesn't have the time to do the one-pager, which is understandable, I hope that we'll have enough kind of in the sphere of information that'll help people out.
I think, too, this aligns with the big trend that we've had here in this commission as well, of broadening what we consider to be preservation and hopefully what other folks in the community consider to be preservation as well, by not exclusively focusing on National Historic Register properties or focusing on local historic district properties. So we're giving folks who have older properties who have not been nominated or properties that have been overlooked throughout the years an opportunity to recognize the importance of their buildings to the built landscape and the cultural landscape of the community. So I think that's another big thing, another horizon hopefully that we're opening up as well.
And it can also be for planning projects too, not just physical work. Okay. I think that brings us to the coordinator's report for the month.
Yeah. So, again, I'm going to continue to plug the Michigan Historic Preservation Network's conference in May. As I've said, probably every month for the last 6 months or something, we do have funds set aside for everyone on this commission and everyone on the Historic District Commission to be able to attend like a baseline of events. So I really hope that even if it's just coming to one of the nighttime events, or if it's, you know, I didn't include these in the payments, but if it's going to a tour, I really hope that everyone can find the time to attend, to be able to show folks throughout the state what we're doing here in Kalamazoo, and be able to talk to other folks throughout the state about what their struggles are with preservation as well. I'm pretty sure that if you talk to other folks, you'll find out that some of the stuff that we're facing are pretty common issues throughout the entire state too. So that's always a little bit reassuring to know that we're not the only ones facing these issues, I find. It was after I put this together, but I got an update from our consultant for the survey as well recently. So they've started to put together their first preliminary reports of some of the areas that they're surveying throughout the city. That's something else that I'm excited about as well. It's a massive undertaking, the amount of work that they're doing. Just a very big survey. So I'm glad that we're moving the needle on that slowly but surely and getting some more of the properties surveyed here in the city of Kalamazoo as well.
Which survey is this? Is this the resource inventory?
Yeah. So this is tight in scope, you could say, of the resource inventory survey for the city of Kalamazoo that was started in 2018. Kramer Design Group took on Oakwood, Douglas, North Side, South Side, maybe one other neighborhood that's escaping my memory right now, to go out and not only analyze the data that was given to them by the volunteers that were part of this project in the past years, but they also needed to go out and do some surveying of their own. So they're going to be looking at a total of, I want to say, for a round number, we'll say 3,400 properties, but 1,400 of those properties need to have pictures taken and they actually need to be surveyed. So massive, massive project, and I'm glad that they're being able to help out with this. This project allows us, we're lucky to have, gotten the money to be able to do this, an ARPA project, to be able to go into areas that have historically not been surveyed in the city of Kalamazoo, such as the North Side, such as Douglas, such as Oakwood, and take a look at those so we can have a baseline and understand what resources do we have in the city. So I just want to make the disclaimer that in no way does this establish historic districts. In no way does this impose any regulations upon homeowners in the areas that are, or property owners in the areas that are being surveyed. It just gives us a look into what we have, which I think is a very useful thing to do. So they're moving along. It's going to be a very long process for them, but I just wanted to share that with you all, that we are still moving along with that project. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head right now.
I have a question, Louise.
Yes.
For the MHPN conference, I just checked. It said that the registration would open mid-February, but it hasn't yet.
Okay.
When it opens, what is the preferred method for us to register and was it register and then submit for reimbursement, or is there a better way?
I will ask Janet that
Okay.
personally and just see what she says the best way is, and then we'll proceed accordingly.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think we need to renew our membership anyways, so we can just probably do 2 birds with 1 stone and get it all taken care of at once. So
Okay, great, wonderful.
as a commission member, Kayla, you get membership to MHPN, which is reduced rates, I think, is the biggest benefit of that for some of the conferences that they hold throughout the year. So there's not only the annual conference, but there are also fall benefits and workshops that are hosted throughout the year by Michigan Historic Preservation Network as well. So it's a good deal, in my opinion. Before we get on to Historic District Commission reviews,
I was just going to ask, do
yeah,
we need
sorry.
to vote for that now, especially if we're going to need to register in the next month?
so I budgeted it away in the budget.
We still have to get it out to use it, right?
Yeah,
So we have to vote on the expenditure.
yeah.
Maybe would it be best to check with Janet what that would look like and then do it all in one lump sum for all of us?
Yes, and I
bring
think
it-
that we could get around the deadlines if we absolutely needed to for the application, since we are
The host.
And we're the governmental body that's here as
Yeah.
well. So
Okay.
I can talk to her and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing is, and I appreciate the question, I think that since we didn't have it on the agenda in the first place, you can't really add
Right.
matters to the agenda. But I will definitely check with Janet.
Well, I
Janet
don't-
Krieger, who is one of the founders of the Michigan Historic Preservation Network, and I believe the president as well. They have president and CEO or executive director. So, but I will check with her and see what she says. So.
I don't think we even know like the booklet isn't out yet or the registration website
Okay.
isn't up. So I don't think we don't even know the rates yet
Yep.
for now. So,
I used last year's to calculate it approximately.
okay, cool. That's great. So maybe everyone we should all just be thinking about if we want. We need to vote, then we'll all be ready to vote.
Yep.
Or we could do a not to exceed amount again in case.
I would advise that we do a not to exceed amount.
Okay.
Once the booklet comes out, I'll send it to all of you. Since I did a la carte, there's multiple tracks that you can pick.
Yeah.
My understanding and my experience from going to MHPN conferences is that you could pick one and you could wander into another one if you needed to that was of the same value. So don't feel tied to it if it's not the end of the world. I don't say that to try to game the system, but I just don't want people to get anxious about getting locked into something. But at least look the book over and give it a thought so you can understand maybe what some of the sessions you want to attend will be. For the Historic District Commission, a couple things. I'm at the very end, hopefully, of the road of getting the standards and guidelines updated. We're doing an internal review right now, and I just want to let you guys know that. So I'll share the document with you all in the Historic District Commission. Those are the, for lack of a better term or for brevity's sake, those are the rules that govern changes on properties within local historic districts in the city of Kalamazoo. Largely, my alterations to the document were grammar and appearance. That was a big bulk of it. I wanted to make the document easier for people to navigate. There were some content changes as well to allow for some more wiggle room for things. So once everything is finalized, I'll share it with you all. Looking at historic district reviews, again, and I probably will start plugging this a little bit more too, but I think it would be great if you guys ever have time to either come to those meetings in person or check them out on YouTube. They are all live streamed just as these meetings are, and you can always go back and watch them afterwards as well. This year we will have a joint meeting or a joint training between both of the commissions. I think it's really beneficial for you guys to understand what they do and for them to understand what you do, and understand that this is a holistic joint approach to preservation. City of Kalamazoo is also unique in having two commissions. Most cities have one commission. Detroit has like 5 commissions, but Detroit is much larger, obviously, than the city of Kalamazoo is, like 5 times larger. So I just want you guys to understand that it's a 2-part relationship. You guys provide them with things that they need, and they provide you things that you need. So understanding and being able to function within that relationship, I think, is very essential to doing the work effectively. Last month, we had a very interesting meeting, and I think it was not precedent-setting meeting. It was unprecedented meeting because the city of Kalamazoo brought forward a proposal for pre-approved construction plans. The Historic Preservation Commission was one of the last pieces in that puzzle for these pre-approved plans to ensure that they were truly pre-approved. Their city worked with an architect to develop, and this is a lot, so we can backpedal if we need to, but 9 different, we'll call them house models. Each of those models had 3 variants, so in effect there are 27 different properties that could be built. The commission approved, gave blanket pre-approval for those plans, meaning a developer or someone that bought a plan could go and buy the plans and all the permits that are necessary. It's all bundled into one. And if they built the houses as specified in the book with no deviations, then they wouldn't need to come back to the HDC. So I think it's a really great strategy to ensure, we know what houses are going in. These houses were developed with the historic elements in mind. They very closely align with the housing stock that we have in the city of Kalamazoo. I would say they kind of span from I hate to say vernacular, but an American traditional housing style from the late 1800s through the craftsman style of houses, the 1920s. That's really great because just getting an architect, I think, would be probably a very expensive endeavor anyways. So we know that quality housing will be going in, and it really just speeds up the process to make sure that more housing stock can be available for folks in the city as well.
Are we talking infill development for historic districts?
Yep.
Okay,
And
just wanted to clarify.
it's not specifically for historic districts either. It's for the entire city. But
Got
we are
it.
one of we wanted to make sure that we would be supporting this work, and we didn't want someone to get a pre-approved plan and then have to come to the HDC.
Cool.
It is only for infill as well, and infill just being if there's an empty lot, these houses are developed to be put on those lots. They're also made with the thought that they can comply with the lot sizes that we have. So there was, a rigorous list of things that was gone through, from zoning to building to water. Everything was considered. So I was really happy to have that go through. This is the first time I think that something's been done like that in the city, at least I can say. So very happy that that got approved. Otherwise, we've only had 4 hearings so far this year. Nothing. Sorry, I was just getting a phone call. Nothing really of note to speak of at this point. But again, if you guys ever want to check in on those cases or ever want to watch them, please feel free. They're on the city's YouTube channel, just as these ones are. So.
And they meet when?
They meet the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. here in Commission Chambers, unless something needs to change, in which case the meetings would be noticed and changed. If you know anyone who's a licensed architect who lives in the city of Kalamazoo who is interested in joining, that's the last seat that we need to fill on the Historic District Commission. So that's been a tricky one to find.
Don't look at me. I might know someone. But all right, if that concludes your report, brings us to Commissioner comments section. And in the spirit of website changes and new members arriving, I looked up and it says on our page that Koenig is still the chair, Gina is the vice chair, so it's a little out of date for our roster, if that could also be changed.
Yep.
Any other comments from the rest of the commission?
I have a good question. What time is the workshop for the O'Connor Fund?
Noon to 2.
2. Okay.
Where is it?
The Van Dusen Room in the central library location.
Oh, at the library, okay.
Oh,
I originally said I couldn't go, but turns out it's a holiday, so.
Is that President's Day?
It's President's Day.
Never even thought about that. It's not really one that jumps out at you. No offense to presidents, but let me complicates things a little bit.
Yeah, why does it complicate things?
I hope that the library is open. So I've already got the complication. The confirmation. I just never thought about that. So I wonder if people have that day off anyways. If I have the day off, it doesn't matter. I can't remember if I do or not, but
It was our backup date, so we'll just blame it on that.
yeah, why not? So
The only thing I was going to bring up is work planning stuff. I think that's still not finalized. So maybe next meeting we could talk about it. Or you mentioned, I guess that'd be April. So unless we want to roll that in with like an orientation thing, I don't know how you want to deal with that. But I think we still opt the work
Let's
plan.
talk about it next
Okay.
month as well.
Okay. Cool.
Do we still need to email you our picks, so to speak?
I would love that, and I would love. So, like, I can send you guys all a reminder if you want me to, but that would be something that would be great to be sent in for an agenda item as well. So, I can set like 2 months or 2 weeks before if you want, or a week before out to everyone just to say, hey, it's the first Monday of the month, we got to send stuff over to Luis. If that's something that would be helpful. I kind of live and die by my calendar now. I can't lie. So perhaps that'd be helpful for you all.
Would it be helpful to everybody if I sent out the latest version of that to the commission prior to next month's meeting, along with a reminder for Luis to put it on the agenda? Would you guys look at it, or should we just wait till we get here? To be honest.
I don't think it would hurt.
Okay. Luis, if I do that sooner than later, even if it comes before your call, will that count for your call?
100%.
Great.
So
Wonderful. Thank
Yep.
you.
stuff can be sent to me at any time. The call was a remnant of something that Sharon used to do. So any time is fine. Realistically, in the future, I will probably look at pushing that call back substantially, because when I ask for it the week of, I have to make the agenda the week of, and then I'm scrambling a little bit to get everything put together for you all. I don't think I've ever got it out later than like the weekend, so then you guys have time to read over it. I don't think it takes multiple days. Sometimes it will take multiple days to read through. I will admit that, but hopefully the weekend is enough time for everyone to look over everything.
All right, if there are no further comments, then call this meeting adjourned.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
one thing.
Yes, Lene.
Are you going to set up the meeting for the old house?
So I spoke with Sharon recently. This month I had lunch with her. This month is really busy for her because she's working elections. She told me. We definitely can set it up. I also wanted to take a little pause and look at the Sexton's Lodge as well. I recently found that Sharon had been in discussions with a volunteer who wanted to do work on the Sexton's Lodge to get that fixed up, the Sexton's Lodge at Mountain Home Cemetery. That conversation evolved extremely rapidly, so I want to make sure that Sexton's Lodge to me is the best place to go do hands-on workshops, A, because we own it. Maybe that's the only reason, frankly. The thing about workshops that I think that we need to look at in workshop in the future is that we're getting the job all the way done. The last time that workshops were conducted at the Sexton's Lodge, the windows were not fully glazed, so the putty never got painted, so now it's already coming out, which kind of bums me out, and it doesn't really teach people the skills that they need fully if we're not getting the job all the way done. If that's the case, we need to consider how long a workshop's going to be, because there does need to be a lot of introductory material, right? And putty needs to dry before you can paint it. So I did speak with her about these things, and then that came up. Yeah,
Well, windows is not the only focus. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I-
other
yeah.
things. But I just think we need to be able to meet and have that discussion. I mean, you know, summer will be here tomorrow and we don't have anything on the books.
I agree. Yeah. By the end of the week, I'll send you something and we can continue to look.
All right, last call. What's the time? 6:56? Meeting adjourned.